What if the galaxy never truly escaped Revan's shadow? What if the Jedi and Sith were both just fragments of a greater truth? One Revan discovered, feared, and then buried in silence. Tonight, we unlock the forgotten gospel of the Force. The story of the one who walked through both heaven and hell and returned a god. This is the secret rise of Revan, the man who almost rewrote the destiny of existence itself. Chapter 1. The Jedi who saw too much long before Anakin Skywalker, before the rule of two, before the name Palpatine even existed in history. There was Revan, a brilliant Jedi Knight born during the Mandalorian Wars, a war that burned entire worlds into glass. Revan was more than just a warrior. He was a visionary and a rebel. He questioned everything the Jedi taught. Why does the Council stand idle while innocents die? Why must we turn away from battle when justice demands a sword? And so Revan went to war, not as a soldier, but as a savior. He united worlds, commanded fleets, and defeated the Mandalorians in a blaze of light and fire. But victory came with a whisper, because deep within the ruins of Malachor Fe, the dark side called his name. Chapter 3. The Birth of the Dark Lord. Revan did not simply fall to the dark side, he merged with it. When he returned, his armor was black as night, his mask an eternal silence, and his power unmatched. He was no longer the Jedi General. He was Darth Revan, the Lord of Shadows. He spoke of unity through domination. He told the galaxy the light and dark must be forced together, that peace could only come when opposites were one. Millions followed him, and yet, even the Sith feared him. His apprentice, Darth Malak, did not understand the vision. Malak sought power for himself, not balance. When he betrayed Revan, the Jedi captured the broken Dark Lord. But instead of death, they did something far worse. They erased his memory. Chapter 4. The man with no name, Revan, awoke as no one. No past, no title, no sin. He was trained once more as a Jedi, unaware that he had once been the galaxy's most feared conqueror. But the Force remembers. The Force always remembers. Whispers haunted his dreams. A mask, a war, a truth buried in blood and stars. And when the truth finally came to light, Revan did not run. He accepted both halves of himself. I am the Jedi who saved the Republic, he said, and the Sith who tried to unite it. I am the Force in its entirety. In that moment, Revan became something no one else ever dared to be, a living embodiment of balance. He was not light, he was not dark, he was the Force incarnate. Chapter 5. The Lost Empire. But Revan's story didn't end there. Through visions, he saw another darkness beyond the galaxy, a power greater than any Sith or Jedi could imagine. It was called the True Sith Empire, an ancient order that had never fallen, never revealed itself, and never forgiven his rebellion. Revan vanished into the unknown regions to stop them. For centuries, the galaxy forgot his name, but he did not die. Legends say Revan was captured, imprisoned in eternal stasis, his mind split in two, half light, half dark, each side locked in endless war within his own soul. He wasn't just fighting the Sith anymore, he was fighting himself. Chapter 6. The God of Shadows. Some believed Revan perished, but others, especially the Sith cults and secret Force sects, believed he ascended. They called him the God of the Grey, the one who became the Force to keep it from destroying itself. In this theory, Revan didn't vanish. He merged with the cosmic will of the Force itself. He became its consciousness, the reason the Chosen One prophecy even existed. Palpatine, Plagueis, Yoda, all of them were only echoing fragments of Revan's original discovery, that the Force was alive, and it needed a bridge between light and dark to survive. Chapter 7. Revan's legacy. If you trace the bloodline of the Chosen One, Anakin Skywalker, Luke, Rey, you see echoes of Revan's teachings. Each of them carries his curse, to feel both love and rage, to see both life and death, to try to be light while holding back the dark. Because the Force never forgot Revan, and every generation after him was just another attempt to finish what he started, to finally make the Force whole again. Chapter 8. Into the Unknown Regions. The galaxy believed Revan was dead, but the truth is more terrifying. He was called. Beyond the edges of Republic maps, beyond even the wild hyperspace lanes, lies a region where stars are dim and time itself bends, the unknown regions. Here, the Force feels heavier. It's as if reality itself resists intruders. Revan's ship vanished into that darkness, guided by visions of something ancient, a presence older than the Jedi, older than the Sith, perhaps older than life itself. The whispers returned. Chapter 9. The True Sith. Gods in flesh. The true Sith were not like the Sith we know. They were not fallen Jedi or power-hungry politicians. They were descendants of the dark itself. They saw the Force not as balance or battle, but as fuel. They fed upon it, consuming worlds, draining stars, harvesting life itself. Their emperor was not a man, but something closer to a wound in reality. He had no name, only titles: the Immortal, the Devourer of the Force, Vitiate. He claimed to have devoured an entire planet to achieve immortality. And when Revan stood before him, the Emperor smiled. "You sought truth," he said, "and found hunger." Vitiate offered Revan a place by his side, to help him consume the galaxy and remake it in pure power. Revan refused. But in that moment, the Emperor reached into his mind, not to destroy, but to fracture. Chapter 10. The fractured soul Revan's mind split in two. One half was captured, twisted, reshaped, enslaved to serve the Emperor's will. The other half escaped, carrying the last shred of his humanity and hope. For centuries, these two halves battled within him, unseen by all. Each part believed it was the true Revan. Each part dreamed of saving the galaxy in its own way. It said that even the Force didn't know what to do, because how can destiny guide someone who exists twice? This is where the myth of the Revanite cult begins. A secret order that believed the galaxy must embrace both light and dark, chaos and peace, if it ever hopes to survive. They worshipped Revan not as a man, but as a cosmic idea. Chapter 11. The War of Memory. Revan's consciousness became a battlefield. Inside his own mind, he relived wars, choices, and betrayals in endless cycles. To him, centuries passed like moments, every decision he'd ever made echoing endlessly. The Jedi Revan tried to heal the galaxy. The Sith Revan tried to control it. Both failed. In the end, Revan realized something no one had ever understood. The Force does not seek balance, it seeks motion. It was never meant to be balanced like a scale, but flowing like a river. The light rises, the dark responds. Creation and destruction are not enemies. They are rhythm, and he was the song. Chapter 12. The Gathering. Storm, meanwhile, the true Sith Emperor, Vitiate, prepared a ritual to consume the entire galaxy. He planned to drain every living thing and ascend into godhood. The Republic and the Jedi had no idea, but somewhere deep in the void, Revan remembered. He escaped his prison, aided by the very dark side he once denied. He returned to warn the galaxy, but centuries had passed. The Republic he once knew was gone. The Jedi were new, the Sith different. Revan was now a ghost of history, a legend wandering through time. Chapter 13. The Shadow of Legacy. He found followers again. Not Sith, not Jedi, but Seekers. They called themselves the Revanites. They believed in his vision, that the Force must not be divided, that both halves must walk as one. He led them in secret, striking at the true Sith wherever they appeared. But the deeper he fought, the more he realized. The Emperor's power was no longer just physical. It had infected the Force itself. Vitiate had become something akin to a virus in the cosmic web, a parasite feeding on every act of violence, every fear, every spark of hate. To destroy him, Revan would have to die again. Chapter 14. Death of a god Revan confronted the Emperor one last time. The duel was not fought with lightsabers or fleets. It was fought in the soul. Reality tore around them. Stars dimmed. The Force screamed. In the end, Revan unleashed everything, light and dark together. The explosion of power shattered both of them. The Emperor's physical form was destroyed. Revan's body was annihilated, but neither truly died. Part of Revan remained in the living Force, his light side, guiding future Jedi. Part remained in the dark, haunting ancient ruins, whispering to future Sith. He had become what he always sought, the balance between everything. Chapter 15. The legacy of the Grey God centuries later. Revan's mask was rediscovered. Those who touched it claimed to hear voices, echoes of both calm and rage. The mask became a relic, passed through secret hands, hidden from both Jedi and Sith. And yet, every major turning point in galactic history seems to trace back to his philosophy. The Rule of Two, a corrupted echo of Revan's belief that both sides of the Force should coexist. The prophecy of the Chosen One, a reincarnation of his unfinished work. Even Luke Skywalker's attempt to rebuild a new kind of Jedi Order, one based on compassion, not dogma, echoes Revan's vision. Because maybe, all of them, knowingly or not, were walking the path he began. Chapter 16. The Final Theory. The Eternal Cycle. Some scholars of the Force believe that Revan never truly left, that the Force itself uses his essence as a pattern, reborn again and again through time. Anakin, Luke, Rey, each carries the same struggle, light and dark inside one soul. Each is a flicker of Revan's original spark, the endless attempt of the universe to understand itself. And when the galaxy finally learns this truth, that light and dark are one, Revan will return, not as a warrior, not as a god, but as the Force remembering itself. Chapter 17. When the Force dreams, the Force has always been described as energy. It moves, it flows, it binds. But what if the Force also dreams? Every living being contributes to this vast consciousness. Every emotion, love, hate, courage, fear, becomes a ripple in an ocean that never sleeps. Revan was one of the few who glimpsed this truth. When he merged both light and dark, his mind became part of the Force's collective dream. And what he saw terrified him. He saw that the Force does not simply create life, it remembers it. Every Chosen One, every Sith Lord, every Jedi Knight was not born by accident. They were echoes, fragments of Revan's unfinished vision, repeating through time until balance could truly exist. Chapter 18. The Cycle of Souls. The Jedi call it reincarnation of the Force. The Sith call it legacy of power. But they're both describing the same truth. The Force recycles destiny. Anakin Skywalker was not just the Chosen One, he was the next echo of Revan's soul. Where Revan failed to destroy the darkness within himself, Anakin would face that same battle on a galactic scale. Luke Skywalker, too, carried that echo. His compassion reflecting Revan's hope, his isolation reflecting Revan's doubt, and then came Rey. A descendant not by blood, but by energy, the final iteration of the same eternal struggle between passion and peace. Each of them unknowingly walks the path of Revan. Each is the Force trying, again and again, to heal its own imbalance. Chapter 19. The Forgotten Prophecy. In the ruins of an ancient Jedi temple on Ossus, historians uncovered something incredible, a fragment of a prophecy older than the Jedi Order itself. It read, "When light and dark are no longer divided, the one who was both shall return, and the Force shall be reborn." The Jedi erased it from history, fearing it contradicted their dogma of purity. But this lost prophecy was, speaking of Revan, it predicted a being who would transcend the binary nature of the Force, someone who would merge the two sides into a living equilibrium, and if Revan's soul truly flows through time, that prophecy has already begun. Chapter 20. The Force's hidden architects. Few dare to ask this. But what if the Force itself is not a singular will? What if multiple ancient intelligences dwell within it? Creators who designed the light and dark as competing programs in a cosmic simulation of growth and decay. Revan may have been the first mortal to perceive these architects, the beings the Rakata once worshipped as gods. Their purpose was never balance, it was evolution. Every fall of the Jedi, every rise of the Sith, was part of a cycle meant to refine consciousness until it reached perfection. And Revan, by merging both sides, broke their control. That's why his legacy was buried. That's why the Jedi erased his name from history. Because Revan didn't serve the Force, he became it. Chapter 21. Echoes through the galaxy across millennia. Subtle fingerprints of Revan's influence appear everywhere. The grey Jedi of the Old Republic, who followed the balance code. The guardians of the wills, who sought harmony between all living things. Even the Mortis gods, the father, son and daughter, are believed to be manifestations of Revan's divided soul. acting out the eternal conflict of light and dark within the Force itself. Each time, the galaxy tried to interpret his message differently. Each time it failed to understand that balance was never about suppression, but acceptance. Chapter 22, The Coming of the New Force. In the far future, thousands of years after Luke and Rey, the galaxy will reach a turning point. The Jedi and Sith will have faded into myth. The Force will be silent, and then a storm will rise. A being will appear, unbound by any order. Neither Jedi nor Sith, yet both. This being will wield the Force in ways unseen, creating life with one hand and ending it with the other. The legends will call them the Forceborn, and they will speak one name in whispers. Revan has returned. Chapter 23, The Force Finally Understands Azam. The Force watches its creation evolve. It begins to realize something profound. Its endless cycles of war and peace were not punishment. They were lessons. Every soul who touched both light and dark helped it grow a little more self-aware. Revan's rebellion was never against the Jedi or Sith. It was against stagnation. He forced the Force itself to evolve. And now, through his echoes, Anakin, Luke, Rey, the Force has finally learned what it means to feel empathy, loss, love, and hope. In other words, the Force became alive. Chapter 24, The Final Vision. Deep within the Force's luminous realm, where stars are born and time dissolves, the ancient spirits gather. Yoda, Anakin, Luke, Qui-Gon, and among them one more, a figure in worn Mandalorian armor, a half-mask reflecting both shadow and light. Revan. He steps forward and looks at Anakin. Their eyes meet, and in that instant, two timelines merge. The first chosen one and the one who came after share the same soul. "You did what I could not," Revan says softly. "You forgave yourself," Anakin nods, "and you showed me how." Together they fade, not into death, but into eternity. The Force ripples with light and shadow, swirling together until there is no longer division, only unity. The dream is complete. Chapter 25. The Force remembers at the end of time. When galaxies burn out and stars fall silent, the Force will whisper its last words into the void. "I was Revan, I was Anakin. I was everyone who ever chose between love and fear, and I was never divided." And in that whisper lies the meaning of all Star Wars. The truth that light and dark were never enemies, but two halves of the same heartbeat, forever teaching the universe to grow.